I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration.
I would beat you.
When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties.
Are you ready?
That goes in the files.
Are you ready? Let's get it all!
Yo, welcome back to the MMA Short Show. As always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. And guys, before I get into this topic and everything, I just definitely want to sit down and I'll probably do a full video on it. But, I just want to sit here and just really let you guys know, like, the people that have been watching and commenting and stuff, like, you guys have no idea how much I appreciate all this. And, like, seriously, I'm just a little kid here, in Ohio talking about my favorite sports since I don't really, I have friends, don't get me wrong, I'm not a loser, but, I don't have friends that know the sport like they do the NBA, the NFL, basketball, football, them, they don't know MMA, like some of the guys, you guys are commenting and everything, that's why I do it. I try to connect with these people. Don't get me wrong, I don't care about subscriptions and shit. Truly, I do. It's nice to have comments, nice to have people, interact with you because it's like this is what I'm doing it for. I'm only talking to talk to people and see what other people's feedbacks and maybe give some advice. Maybe something I've been seeing. I've been trying to go to plenty of fights, so I'm trying to just post a bunch of stuff on here and hopefully get some fighter interviews and shit. Who knows? But honestly, the comments and shit that I've been getting from you guys, it's overwhelming almost. And I know how nasty of a place the internet can be, and we always hear about it, but. Seriously, I've out of the one or two comments I've ever got that were terrible, they were just mean. It was like, man, you guys have been blowing me out of the water with all this shit, with the nice comments and telling me to keep going and all this shit. And, shouts out for the comments on the beard, guys. Like, I'm Greek and Italian. I can't help it. I got a beard. I was born, I came out the womb with a beard, so that's why I let it go. But, seriously, much appreciated. And trust me, I'm going to keep going and everything. And I just, hopefully it gets better and better. So, seriously, guys, from the bottom of my heart, I'll probably do a video, like I said, and actually show all the comments and shit that people have been sending and maybe reply to a couple. So for real, much appreciation, you guys. But anyway, let's get back into it real quick. The number one thing I want to sit here and talk about on Thursday, I'm about to go golf and whatnot, so hopefully I can get this up today. But the one thing I definitely want to talk about, clearly we got this UFC fight card this weekend. Clearly we got the whole Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia boxing match this weekend that everybody's going nuts over. I get all this. We got Curtis Blades this weekend against Sergey Pavlovich. Arguably probably going to show us the number one contender of whoever wins that one, probably for Bones and Stipe, unless both of the guys retire in July or August, whenever they're trying to get him to fight. So it's like the fight card's not that bad. Luckily I just went to the whole Max Holloway fight card this last weekend, and I was blessed. I was, not to even be funny, blessed, whatever, but it was amazing. It was a really good fight card. Finishes left and right, just all around action. I got truly lucky. So, this weekend, it's one of them fight cards. Like, we got Bobby Green on there. You got some of the guys on there. You got, like I said, Brad Tavares. I think he's co-maining for the 100th time in his career. Shouts out to him, seriously, for how long he's been around. But this brings me into maybe the biggest fight of the weekend, or at least for me, the most exciting fight. And there's an argument this might be the best fight that there's out there at 135 right now. And this is from Bellator. And don't get me wrong, I love Bellator. I personally love One Championship, Bellator, PFL. I love all fighting. I've been to so many local shows here in Ohio, kickboxing shows, MMA shows. It does not matter. I've been to a bunch. I'll watch fights all day. I don't care about the level. Clearly, if I'm going to spend money for tickets, good money, it's got to be high level. So, my one pick on Bellator, clearly, it's not fair to them that we always compare them to the UFC. So it's clearly they're not going to have the production. I feel like I've always kind of complained about their press conferences I think they do more media calls, and it's just man, I always wanted them to kind of do a little bit more, or at least announce more of what they're doing. And I would love to talk about Bellator way more, but they only do a couple shows a month, or a couple shows every other month, I should say. And the one thing I kind of don't understand with them is how they've been doing this weird thing, like this weekend especially. Friday they have Bellator 294, and it's Liz Carmouche. I think she's fighting, I forget the girl's first name, but she's fighting Bennett for the second time, which. I'm not trying to be mean here. Shouts out to Liz Carmouche for doing her thing, but that's not even that's honestly if it wasn't for a belt on the line, that's like a prelim fight. You know what I'm saying? Or the opening of a card. And then I think you got Danny Sabatello on there and a couple other guys, but I think Ray Borg might be on it and whatnot. But it's not the greatest card. And then Saturday they go in and give us Bellator 295, which that's the one I'm stacked about. Raufeon Stots versus Patchy mix that's the main event clearly. That might be the number one fight at 135 that anybody has to offer. And you guys are saying, probably sitting there okay, well, wait a minute, the UFC clearly is home, they're king in 135 over there, so stacked. What about the Aljo's? what about the? I guess you can call Henry Cejudo. I guess, but I know he's fighting for the belt. But I don't know if you consider him like a true 135er. But still, he's in there. You got Piotr Jan, you got Sean O'Malley, you got Marab, you got all these guys coming. You 135 going for days and days and days and days and days and days and days about it because it's that stacked. It's literally that fucking stacked over there. Cheeto Vera, Sanhagen, go on, literally going for days. So it's like, yeah, I know what you guys are saying, but when it comes to Aljo, since he's fought Piotr Jan, we knew how those fights were going to go. Piotr's going to take over the stand-up, and if Aljo can get him on the ground and get his back, then that's the way to victory. And then go a step further, you know, if Piotr Jan's fighting Sean O'Malley, it's like, okay, we know this is, you know, you don't know how it's going to go, but you're like, oh shit, you know, striking battle for sure. Like, you know, we could, like Henry Cejudo versus Aljo, like I know Cejudo's like the fucking man. He's the Olympic gold medalist in wrestling and everything, but the one thing is I still think to this day, I think he's still going to try to keep it standing because he's fallen in love with his stand-up. Like, I feel like there's like paths that we're going to see to these fights that, you know, make them exciting regardless. I'm going to be watching them, but I'm just telling you guys, Raufeon Stots and Patchy mix, like, this is one of those fights you guys don't want to miss, in my opinion. If you guys love MMA as much as I do, this is a huge one. This is the Bantamweight, you know, they do these little tourneys that I love, and I wish the UFC would take that platform and go with it, but, you know, still, they're doing these tourneys, and it's amazing. It's like the champions are losing before it even happens, and then it's like by the time it's the title, or by the time it's the championship fight or the, you know, the final fight, it's like, man, it's like you're shocked at who's in here. But, you know, for both of these guys, Raufeon Stots 19-1, the dude's been around forever, and, you know, if I'm being honest with you guys, the only loss that he's ever had, it's, don't go back and watch it because it's kind of embarrassing. It's only a 15-second spinning back fist that he loses to, but dude hasn't lost since, his only loss is 2017 against Merab Dvalishvili, who we know Merab, that dude's over in the UFC just making everybody look bad. So it's like, if that's his only loss and he's been doing everything else to people, and this is the thing, Raufeon Stots is one of the most well-rounded fighters that we have at 135. Like, the kid can knock you out, he can submit you, he can roll with you all day. It doesn't matter who you think you are. Like the whole Danny Sabatello fight that we just watched. If Danny Sabatello was in the UFC, that man would be the Colby Covington of the UFC. People would fucking hate him. And they already do in Bellator, but like he's just got that cocky attitude. But he's also just like a leg humper, you know, a crotch sniffer, is, you know, the Connors and people love to call him. Like, he's just a very awkward style. He's really good at keeping you down. He's good at nullifying you. And for Raufeon Stots to go through all of that and still get the victory, absolutely, just absolutely insane. And like, just the fights that we've seen him against Kyoji Horiguchi, who I think has one of the craziest fighting styles that might ever be. If you guys haven't watched this guy fight, I mean, he's getting a little older now, but yeah, he's fighting this weekend actually, so definitely watch Saturday. Dude's got one of the craziest fighting styles you ever see. It's a lot like a mix of like Dominic Cruz, but like the size of like a TJ Dillashaw, because, you know, Dominic's a little taller, but like I don't know how to explain it. The dude's crazy. He's got crazy footwork, and then not to mention the whole Magomedov fight. And I think you guys are probably, if you guys don't know him, you're thinking I'm making this name up, but I swear, like Magomedov, I thought was about to be the true king over there in Bellator. But I mean, he's honestly lost to both guys. He lost a decision to Raufeon Stots, and then I think he just lost his most recent fight to Patchy Mix with a sub. So to get to this title, so, you know, I'm very excited for it. It's one of those fights that I just don't know how it's going to go. These fights can go any which way. I could see it on the ground. I could see it standing, because although Patchy Mix is like one of the best submission artists that we have in MMA, like dude's fucking phenomenal. He's only got one KO win, and he's got 12, you know, submission wins out of his. I think he's 16-1, 17-1. So like, the dude is dangerous. He's tall, lengthy, just absolute killers, man. And I'm telling you guys, I just don't sleep on him. I know you guys think Bellator isn't there yet, like they're not the number one thing yet, which honestly you're right when it comes to a lot of things. But we're starting to see with like Vadim Nemkov, we're starting to see with all these guys like fucking Raufeon Stots, both of these boys. You know, Aaron Pico is going to be on the card. He's starting to really come up. We got Yoel Romero over there now, who is getting older and everything. But there's arguments of Johnny Eblin out there, you know, maybe being able to beat Izzy or Alex Pereira at the time before Izzy just beat Alex. But like, you know, there's people talking that, you know, Johnny Eblin might be the 185 king of MMA. Like, you know, they're honestly starting to get really fucking good talent over there, and I just really hope that people can start looking at it. You know, I'm trying to get my media credentials. I'm trying to start going to shows, give these fighters love, because this is honestly all I'm doing. Not only am I trying to just sit here and connect with fans, but like, you know, it's been my favorite sport for like 15, 16 years now. And it's like, if I'm watching the NBA and the NFL and all these people getting all this love, like, for like honestly nothing, just throwing balls around and shit. Even though I love these sports, don't get me wrong, I'm not shitting on these guys, but what MMA fighters do compared to what a basketball player does or a football player does, it's not even close. They put their life on the line. They're on the road 6 months of the year training, or just for a fight camp. Don't get to see their family, their kids, anything. And then especially in smaller promotions, you might make $1,000 for that fight card. Guess what? 20% of that's going to your coach, whatever. 10% is going to your manager if you have a manager yet. So like, just trying to give these guys the hype that they deserve. And definitely check this out this weekend. I know clearly Tank Garcia and everything, it's going to be a great fight, but I'm just saying MMA fight of the week for me, Raufeon Stots, Patchy mix. I don't know how it's going to go. Truly, I think Raufeon Stots is that man. I never want to count Raufeon Stots out. I think he might be one of my favorite fighters, just his style, just how he can do everything all at once. But Patchy mix, his stand up starting to finally come along with him. He's starting to kind of get scary with people. The way he's just like stalking people down is something that's just crazy to me. And then he's been doing really good at not diving for takedowns or going like selling out for takedowns or anything or like selling out for submissions or whatever. He's actually really good at like slowly getting you into there where he gets you comfortable. And then as soon as he gets his hands on you, bro, it's done. He gets your back so quick. So I'm very excited to see. I don't think Stotts is going to get submitted, but I could see anything happening. Especially like we talk about all the time. If Raufeon Stots is expecting a takedown or expecting the ground game, maybe he's going to leave himself open on the top. But at the same time, it's going to be a lot of shit for Patchy Mix to get in there against Raufeon Stots. So it's pretty much, it feels like an undefeated fight. Both of these guys are in their prime, just going ham. I think they're both on like 12 fight winning streaks or something. I think Patchy Mix lost to Juan Archuleta, who, if MMA math's a thing, which it's not, but Raufeon Stots beat Juan Archuleta too, Team Alpha Male legend over there. So, as always, your boy, Stephen Moustaris. Let me know what you guys think. And again, seriously, I appreciate all of you guys. Seriously. Thank you.